welcome to another episode of InfoScope. I'm your host, Hannah Kim. It's time for the latest from the IT and science worlds. Let's begin with a preview of a couple of our first stories. Cancer is unfortunately a common disease around the world, but there is constant research taking place for the cure of cancer or prevention of cancer. In fact, researchers have developed a sensor that is 1 million times more sensitive than current sensors for cancer detection. And more from the labs, Korean researchers have improved an existing method for creating fuel from greenhouse gases, bringing us closer to a type of fuel that can slow down global warming. Here are some more details on this story coming up next on Briefing Scope. A Korean research team has developed a method of creating highly stable liquid hydrocarbons with carbon monoxide and hydrogen. The team used the Fischer-Tropsch process, which involves subjecting the two elements to high pressure and temperature and cobalt as a stable catalyst. An American research team has developed an optical sensor that is 1 million times more sensitive than the current best solution. The sensor can detect even a single molecule of an enzyme created by cancer cells and has the potential of being used to detect early signs of other diseases as well. A Korean research team has developed a technology that will allow for easier production of thin film transistors, or TFTs, with lesser equipment. The team predicts that this technology will cut the cost of making high-performance TFTs by about a half. A research team led by Ijino has successfully detected a copper pair density wave in high-pressure superconductors. The researchers stated that based on this detection, should a room-temperature superconductor be developed, it will be possible to create equipment capable of lossless electric current and magnetic levitation. We just saw a lot of new technologies and findings in the first part of our show, but now we're going to take a look at how certain products can be applied to our daily lives. For example, we will take a look at how artificial intelligence can be used in agriculture. Apparently, AI can help maintain the optimum conditions for crops to grow and increase productivity. We'll have more information on that in just a bit, but first, we have a story about spring fever. Why do we feel tired in the springtime? The answer lies in our biological clocks and how the clock isn't in sync with our brains. Well, let's take a look at how spring fever can affect us physically and mentally here on Industry Inside.
The human brain registers sunlight in the morning when the sun rises. At that point, a hormone called cortisol is released, activating the brain. The same concept applies to the blind, as there are special cells capable of recognizing day and night. When the sun sets and the sky darkens, the brain generates melatonin as it recognizes the darkness. Cortisol wakes you up, while melatonin helps you go to sleep. During the winter, when nights are longer, more melatonin is generated, making it harder to wake up. Even as winter transitions into spring, you will still wake up at the same time, but more cortisol is generated compared to winter, causing spring fever.
겨울 동안에 계속 어둠이 아침 7, 8시까지 있다가 봄이 되면 해가 일찍 깨면 우리가 깨는 건 알람은 똑같지만 뇌파는 일찍 깨게 됩니다. 그래서 3, 40분 일찍 깨는 게 충곤증으로 표현하게 돼 있어요.
In short, spring fever is caused by the brain waking up 30 minutes before the actual wake-up time. On top of this, artificial light creates a daytime light environment at night, disrupting sleep and making a person feel even more tired. Cherry tomatoes are being harvested in this greenhouse. Sensors measure temperature, humidity, and soil conditions in real time and can predict the yield. When the conditions are judged to be substandard, shades are automatically deployed. This is a farm powered by artificial intelligence using IoT, or Internet of Things technology. All data about the farm is saved in a server. Researchers plan to use big data and create a network of farms in not only Korea, but also Japan and China. The bigger the data, the lower the chances of failure for farms, which will boost yields and profits.
농장에서의 어떤 이 성과라든지 여러 가지 어떤 운영의 사례들을 다른 여러 모델들로 확산도 하고 또 이것들이 궁극적으로는 모든 농가에 이런 식으로 이제 이런 시스템이 전파되고 국내뿐만 아니라 글로벌로 진출하는 것을 기대하고 있습니다.
This AI-powered farm concept has the potential to push agriculture into a new phase. The first stage of the Falcon 9 rocket made by private aerospace company SpaceX made its first successful landing on an ocean barge in the Atlantic Ocean.
움직임이 있는 곳에 착륙을 시도해서 완성을 했다는 것은 조종 능력이 굉장히 뛰어난 그런 기술을 확보했다 이렇게 볼 수 있는 거고요.
Recovering a rocket from the ground requires a separate platform. Moreover, additional fuel is needed for the rocket to land on that platform. However, if a rocket is recovered from the ocean, an unmanned barge can be mobilized and sent to the landing zone. This cuts down fuel and construction costs. If a rocket can be reused, costs for a launch can be reduced drastically.
보통 한 번 하는데 한 900억 원 이상 정도가 들거든요. 뭐 많게는 한 1,000억 원 이상 들고요. 그런데 이번에 해상 착륙 기술도 확보되고 재활용 기술이 이제 보다 완성된 그런 과정이 있으니까 이렇게 된다 그러면은 발사 비용을 적어도 한 200억 원 이상 이하로 낮출 수가 있고.
SpaceX plans to test launching and recovering Falcon Heavy, which can carry over 53 metric tons, within this year. This welfare center is filled with the elderly having a meal. Caregivers at each table are lending them a hand. For those who are immobile, more help is needed. Dealing with excretion is the most difficult part. This patient has a special piece of equipment between his legs. This system takes care of bodily waste without the user having to visit the restroom.
이거 사용하니까 그냥 자동 되는 거 아니에요? 예, 효능을 좋아요, 이걸 해보니까.
This mobile set of equipment allows a caregiver to wash a patient's hair right from the bed.
간병인이 계속 줄어들기 때문에 간병인을 대체할 수 있는 새로운 제품이 필요한 거고요.
Last year, there were 6.62 million Koreans who were 65 years old or older, making up 13.1% of the total population. This is beyond the 7% that sets the standard for an aging society, and the figure is approaching the 14% mark, which defines an aged society. By 2060, 10 members of the working age population will have to support 8 members of the elderly population. There will not be enough people available to provide care, and only science and technology will provide the alternative solution.
고령자들이 활동하는데 관련된 안전 문제들이 굉장히 많습니다. 이제 그러한 안전 문제들을 해결하기 위해서 과학 기술이 뒷받침할 수 있다고 생각하고요.
Government-funded research centers plan to continue researching and developing equipment and systems to raise the quality of life for the elderly.
Moving on to Take a Peek, Korean researchers have used a 3D printer to make a human skull, which was then successfully transplanted into a patient. This skull was a perfect replication of the patient's original skull, even the bone structure and all the empty spaces. But before we take a look at this transplant, let's move over to the United States, where researchers have devised a way to speed up learning skills. It was through a neurostimulation experiment, and it's been said that this procedure may make it easier to learn foreign languages and complex skills. Let's take a closer look at these stories and more on Take a Peek.
I know Kung Fu.
This is a scene from the movie The Matrix. The protagonist, Neo, has just had kung fu techniques downloaded into his head and is suddenly capable of fighting like a seasoned expert. This form of high-speed learning may just become reality. A U.S. research team succeeded in improving performance in beginner pilots through neurostimulation. The team first collected the brain activity patterns of 6 commercial and military pilots using flight simulators. Afterwards, these patterns were transmitted into novice pilots, and specific parts of their brains were stimulated to generate similar patterns.
We were hoping to modulate the brains of novice pilots who had never seen this task before
in order to try to make their brain states more similar to the experts.
After repeating the procedure for 4 days, researchers observed a 33% increase in skills consistency.
And we're building off that research to target and personalize the stimulation in the most effective way possible.
The researchers hope that this technology can be applied to those learning languages or how to drive, as well as patients suffering from brain diseases or paralysis. A patient in her 60s received an operation after having a brain hemorrhage, but her brain began to swell. The doctors had to remove a portion of her skull to relieve pressure. Afterwards, they restored her head shape with the help of a 3D printer. Scientists took a precise image of the intact half of her head and measured even the amount of empty space in the skull to create a customized skull. The skull was printed with a 3D printer and made significantly lighter.
빈 공간이 생기면 결국에 피가 고이게 되고 피는 좋은 배지이기 때문에 염증이 생겨서 그걸 다 잘라 버리게 다시 또 떼버려야 되거든요. 안쪽에 있는 그 죽은 공간을 없애가지고 무게도 무겁지 않은 걸로 해가지고 대체를 하게 된다면은 환자도 만족하고 의사도 만족하는 그런 결과를 기대할 수 있을 것 같습니다.
Researchers used titanium instead of a metal alloy and reduced the overall weight. Thanks to pure titanium, there are no side effects that can come from using alloys.
순수 티타늄을 3D 프린팅 공정 간의 강도를 향상시킬 수 있는 기술을 기반으로 제작되어서 인체에 유해한 성분이 전혀 포함되지 않은 상태에서 높은 강도를 확보할 수 있다는 데 가장 큰 의미가 있습니다.
The researchers hope that this technology can be used to make not only skulls, but also hip and knee joints. AI system AlphaGo harnesses the power of 1,202 central processing units and 176 graphics processing units. It consumes about 170,000 watts of power per hour. A person's brain uses about 20 watts of power. A semiconductor that consumes little energy like the human brain and has the computing power of AlphaGo may become a new growth engine in the future. The Korean government will look into applications of nanotechnology that can reduce power consumption to 1,000th of the current level and boost the operating speed by 100 times. Nanotechnology will be applied to electric cars and their batteries. Researchers will aim to boost the energy density of secondary batteries and allow a car to cover 500 kilometers per charge. The government decided on these goals as part of its initiative titled Korea's Nano Revolution 2025 and will invest $490 million this year.
대한민국 나노혁신 2025는 혁신 주도 나노 산업화 확산, 미래선도 나노기술 확보, 나노혁신 기반 확충 등을 주요 내용으로 하고 있습니다.
Other research initiatives include nanobiomaterials that can be inserted into a human body as a monitoring device or a drug delivery vehicle.
Did you know that some of these nanotechnologies are actually thinner than a strand of human hair? It's even more interesting because some of the world's greatest scientific milestones cannot be seen with the naked eye. Luckily for you, here on InfoScope, we will try and bring you all of the newest technologies, even some of the smallest research findings, so you don't miss the small things in life. This wraps up today's show. We'll be back next week with another fun and informative episode. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day. Goodbye, everyone.